Hello out there, Heavy Montae here. This is the Heavy Montae podcast, cast, and comedy show. Now, some very peculiar things are going on with the Republican Party. Look like they don't even care about their voters. Now, you know that the Congress, I say this on every one of my podcasts, the Republican Congress has an order from the top saying do not have any town halls because if you have a town hall, then the American people will find out what we're trying to do to them, like take away the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and anything we can take away from the American people. And the Republican Congress, they are working hand in hand with that maggot, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk. They're working hand in hand with them to destroy America. Because the Republican Party know they're in trouble, you know. So they're trying to say, okay, we don't want to have any more elections. We're going to try to rig everything but as much as we can. But they have a problem at the top. And at the top is Donald Trump. And I say to America all the time that I honestly believe that he is playing for a pardon. He is hoping and praying that MAGA Mike Johnson or John Doon or one of those cowards in the Republican Party will come up and say to him, hey, we'll pardon you for everything. Because he's going to jail. Because he's committing crimes right now in the opinion of H. Montae. You see what I'm saying? So he's in more trouble because when you elect a convict, you can expect some criminal behavior. You can expect nothing less. That's the only way they know how to operate. Because what Donald Trump is doing doesn't make sense to us, but it makes sense to him and his billionaire friends. Because the objective is to make as much money as they can and to drain the pockets of the American people. And it's ironic that Leon, I call him Leon Musk, okay, he is making his money off of the American taxpayers, you and me. Billions of dollars. He gets the contracts, the $1 billion contracts. Why don't we start there, cutting his contracts? I would have respect for him if he had said, hey, look, I'm giving up all of my contracts and I'm going to work for my country because I love my country. But he is an immigrant, a South African immigrant. And I don't think that he has the same ideas of democracy as we have here in America. You understand? I don't see where he is educated in worldly affairs enough to run the greatest country in the world. And they say that his time has expired. He has to leave the organization. He can't work for the government unless they actually make him a cabinet member. And I won't put that past Donald Trump because Donald Trump is a dog. Donald Trump don't care. He'll say, hey, I'll make him a Secretary of Doge. I think that's what they call it. That's what we're dealing with, America. We're dealing with a criminal organization, a organization that spreads all the way across the country, a maggot church in every little small town, signs that say we love Donald Trump in these red maggot states that are crying now and hollering, please, where's my government? Help me if you can. But the government can't help you because you gave the government to your enemy who created a government and said that government was Joe Biden and the liberals when the government that you should have feared is Donald Trump. You could have seen it. J.D. Vance. Come on, America. Huh? We could have done better than that. Donald Trump. We know who and what he is. And he was saying these crazy things before it happened. The liberals understood what he meant. But the maggots thought he was joking when he said he was going to do these things. And then he lied to the maggots. He said, well, I'll get rid of the dark people and I'll make white people king again, queens. Get rid of every religion in America And maggot religion is the religion for us all. Because we are no longer a free country. We cannot worship as we please. Our women do not have control of their own bodies, America. And people, Hispanic people, live in fear in the greatest country in the world. That's a shame. That is a damn shame. Because I said to America on my previous podcast, we are the majority, America. The people who love democracy, the people who are happy with our government, not a perfect government. No government is going to be perfect. But I learned something a long time ago, and that was that you're going to always have some type of government. So let's look at it this way, America. You can choose between the government that you had and the government that Donald Trump and his criminal organization propose. And I don't think you're going to like that, America. That's why the protests are growing greater. There's another one on April the 19th, and I guarantee you, people are going to be coming out. You know why? Because no one fear a weak man. No one fear a weak political party. No one fear a congressman like Mike Lawler of New York going around the skies as somebody who play it down the middle when he's maggot to the core. You understand? I saw what you said on TV, Lawler. You said, and I hope I didn't hear this, and I want everybody to check it out, that we should and we can and we may touch Social Security. But the call before and what Trump was saying that you weren't going to do that. So you had no room to maneuver. But now you're trying to maneuver just like the Republican Party, just like Fox News. They always got a story, America. You know, they always trying to fool you out of your money. You see, they want control of it, control of all of it. And these poor ass red states in America, you guys are on a lot of trouble because the federal government was your friend. And the federal government was a welfare check for you red states because you paid less to the government than what you took in. But you didn't know that because you were listening to racism and misogyny. You know, you're listening to somebody say, you know, white people are disappearing. Who gives a damn, America? People don't care about that stuff no more. There's no way in the world you're going to separate the American people by race today. It's a useless cause because everybody in America has a friend of a different color. They may be married to them. You understand? You can't do this here. And that goes across all lines. That's why we need to treat every American, regardless of who or what they are, fairly. You see? Fairly. Because race should not play when in deciding anything about anything in America. It should be merit, character, who you are. You understand? Can you do the job? But I declare tonight that Donald Trump got a cabinet that can't do the job. You see what they're doing with your eyes. You know. Yeah, do you feel safe tonight, America tonight, having Pete Hegseth and control our military, Tulsi Gabbard working in intelligence, and Kash Patel, the FBI director? Come on, America. See, that's what we got. That Republican Party is a bunch of dirty dogs through and through. A bunch of freaking lunatics. You know what I'm saying? We need to single them out. I call on Lord this time. On the next podcast, I'm going to identify another one of them, you know. And then we're going to check the list and see if we can vote those crummy jokers out. But don't get me wrong. I have said before that no elected Republican in the House or Senate should be re-elected. It is time we got to put some space and some years behind these lunatics and these clowns, America. So this is H. Montae. Have a great night, America, and don't get down. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel.